Hi, everybody. I hope you and your families are well. Uh, we've been talking at our house about everything that's happened with the coronavirus and the shutdowns and all those kinds of things and what the new normal is going to be in the world and certainly in our country. But there are some things that we've learned in this crisis that I think are important to talk about. So that's what this video is about. Uh, and we're going to face this kind of thing again, just as we face the seemingly eternal issues with our health and the problems in America that are causing more deaths than any pandemic that we've ever faced. But we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. But here's what we do know. There's some things that our metabolic health and our immune systems are doing to us in America that are handicapping our abilities to fight something like this virus. So we have some questions that we need to ask ourselves in light of what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future. And the first question I have for you is this: did the COVID-19 pandemic cause serious concern for me and my family? And if it did, then continue listening. If not, then you still might want to listen because there's some important information that I'm going to share with you through my questions and the answers. And in asking that first question, here's the next step, I think. And were our bodies prepared for the onslaught of highly contagious disease? And I would dare say that for the majority of Americans, I would say well over 80% are not prepared for that sort of thing. We are rich in the fact that we have food readily available for the most part in most of America, but we don't maintain a healthy lifestyle. And because of that, we're more susceptible to disease of all sorts, from infection, from inflammation, that because of our lifestyle. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about primarily about this is what can I do to improve my overall health and the health of my family. My wife and our adult son and I have taken steps to reduce our risk for disease, and we're going to address some of those issues here today. First thing is what's the new normal? We know life's not going to be the same again for all kinds of reasons. But we know, for example, that pandemics will continue to occur. They do. They have been since the beginning of time. And so we're going to see those continue. The next one may be milder. It may be worse. We just don't know. We also know that the cancer and heart disease and diabetes kill more people each year than pandemics do. And that's a part of our problem. All of those three of those things kill people at a much slower rate than the coronavirus has. But all three of those are almost entirely preventable by changes in our lifestyles. And they kill far, far more people. So what we know is we can protect ourselves from most of the deadly conditions that we face. There's no doubt about that. The science is very, very clear about that. It's simply that we don't do what we need to do. But we do know this. We must take ownership of our health in advance. We are so used to in this country, because of the quality of health care that's available to us, we're used to counting on the medical professionals to fix us when we're broken. When we have a heart attack, or we develop heart disease, when we develop type 2 diabetes, when cancer comes along, we're so used to the medical professions fixing those things for us, because we have the most highly skilled people in the world in our medical professions. But the fact of the matter is, if we want to live a healthy life and live a long, healthy life, and we want to protect our families, we have to take ownership of our health in advance and not wait for it to be fixed. So here's some things that we need to know. And this is where I start. The whole foundation of this is this. That while much of the world suffers from lack of clean water, food, sanitary conditions, most Americans have lost control of the two most important factors necessary for truly good health. We just don't pay attention to these things. And one is metabolic health. We'll define that in a moment. And the other is inflammation management. Those two elements are something that we've lost control of. We don't seem to know how to do it because, in part, there's just so much information floating around out there that people don't know how to put it all together. And we're going to do that for you a little bit here in this video. So let's talk about what metabolic health is. We tend to think of metabolism as how our bodies burn fat, how a high rate of metabolism allows us to burn fat, or we have a slow metabolism that we can't burn fat. And that is the major majority of the population's understanding of what metabolic health is. But metabolic health is the proper functioning of our bodies at the cellular level. And the science here, again, is very, very sound, and we're going to detail some of that here. But poor metabolic health is the driver behind diabetes, heart disease, cancer, dementia, and immune system function. Now, I have friends and relatives that have issues with all of these. I have friends who have diabetes, type 2 diabetes. I have friends who have heart disease. I have friends and relatives who have died of heart disease. I have friends and relatives who have dealt with or are dealing with cancer. Dementia hits really close to home in my family. We lost my mother literally to dementia, and in partly because we didn't know how to deal with that in advance. And immune system functions, we can handicap ourselves every day with the functioning of our immune systems. We're going to deal with that today too. And then the last item here is inflammatory conditions such as arthritis. Here's what we know about most disease, our most serious diseases in North America, and that is that inflammation is connected to every one of these conditions that I've listed previously. All 5 of these categories of conditions. And most of us are living with a high rate of inflammation in our bodies. Arthritis is probably the least damaging of the inflammatory conditions that we can deal with here. So here's some questions that you need to answer for yourself. Are you going to wait until the next health crisis, including all those that I've mentioned on the previous slide, whether it's the next pandemic or heart disease or cancer or dementia raises its ugly head in your family? Or are you going to do the compassionate, responsible thing and be proactive? And I would ask you to do this if you're ready to talk about protecting your family, that you contact me and let's have a conversation about things that can be done to improve your immune system, lower your rate of inflammation, and to take control of your health and that of your family. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you.